Let's get it.
It is an absolutely gorgeous day here in the Carolinas, and I'm so glad to see it. I do hope everyone is well, as we always love to say. And I hope that you're able to get out and enjoy this day. I hope, like me, you're somewhere where the skies are blue and clear. The sun is out. We're getting a little warmth on our skin at the same time. What a beautiful day. I hope you're able to get some exercise in if possible. I know I haven't been on my bike in almost a week. I think over a week. We actually missed Saul last week on the bike. And some of that had to do with my work schedule. Most of it had to do with me being sick. The wife and I got real bad head colds. I say head colds, but it did turn into a little cough. Praise the Most High, we came out on the other side of it shining like gold. And I did have a great idea I want to share today. And it is, climb down off your high horse before you get knocked off. Oh boy. Oh boy. Climb down off your high horse before you get knocked off. The Damascus Road experience we must all face. The Damascus Road experience we must all face. Road to Damascus experiences are those in which a person has a sudden insight that radically changes their beliefs. The phrase also refers to other types of sudden conversions. Sudden conversions. The story of Saul's conversion on the road to Damascus is told in Acts 9:1-19 and retold by Saul himself in Acts 22:6-21. Also Acts 26:12-18. But we're not going to read over that since everyone understands and knows. What should we say? Everybody knows, and I hope that we all understand Saul's Damascus Road experience. Saul came to understand that everything, even all the knowledge he had acquired, was as dung or boo-boo compared to the true knowledge of Yahushua HaMashiach, the living word of Yahuah. And we see that in Philippians 3:8. Yes, doubtless, and I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Yahushua HaMashiach, my Adonai, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and count them but dung, that I may win Mashiach, Christ. Not that knowledge was wrong for Saul or is a bad thing for us. However, when it's mistaught, it is used as a weapon of enslavement. And we're going to read that again. Not that knowledge was wrong or is a bad thing. However, when it's mistaught, it is used as a weapon of enslavement. And Jeremiah 16:19 says, O Most High, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto you from all the ends of the earth, and shall say, Surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. See, even that lets us know. And these days coming now, As we've been seeing a lot of the Gentiles coming forth here of late, pardon me, getting on YouTube and other platforms and telling the truth about who the real people are. They're saying that the folks that have been enslaved and blacks dispersed all over the world are the true Hebrews, are the true Israelites, the chosen people of the Most High. And they're coming out daily. But see, the tough thing about that is, why should we wait for this witness before we would comprehend and listen? Especially us of people of color. I don't like using the word black, but especially us Hebrews. We shouldn't have to take the word of a Gentile before we start paying attention to what our brothers and sisters are telling us. See, when your brother and sister, and I thought about this last evening, when somebody you know has been walking the way, you have seen step by step, year by year, the Most High working in their lives and changing them and rearranging their lives so they're no longer a dope addict, they're no longer an alcoholic, they're no longer a sex addict, a porn addict, all the other addicts you can think of, speaking of myself. But the Most High cleaned up their lives, speaking of myself, put them on a righteous path. And as he got deeper into the Most High shared more wisdom with him, speaking of myself. So why is it all of a sudden this person doesn't know what he's talking about? This person all of a sudden stopped listening or hearing from the Most High. See, we have to ask them real questions. Why would someone just switch up all of a sudden and start speaking non-truths? See, the whole point about it is, what I've learned in this walk, in life period, you can't judge a person by what they say. You have to judge them by the fruit they bear, by what you see in their actions. If you see a person talking a whole lot of crazy, but that crazy ain't working for the good in their lives, then you can dismiss them. But if you see an individual talking what you say is crazy because, for one, you don't understand the truth. Like these Gentiles are saying now, our fathers have inherited lies. The lie has been passed down, perpetrated, generation after generation. But now that our time is up in the land of our captivities, see, the whole point is we had to suffer judgment for our hard-headednness, if that's the right way to say that. We had to suffer judgment for being disobedient. See, I just heard a teacher teaching on this last evening. He was saying that the Most High didn't forget the covenant with us, but we did. And see, that's the reason why we're in the lands of our captivities now, because we turned away from the covenant we made with him. See, our ancestors made a covenant with Moses on the mountain. They said, you go up and talk to him. We don't want to talk to him. He's scared of him. He make too much noise. He be throwing thunder and lightning and fire, and we scared of him. You go talk to him. But at the same time, they came back and said, whatever he say do, we'll do it. They bound themselves to covenant with the Most High. And we're already bound to it through Abraham, our ancestor, because of the covenant the Most High cut with him as the Most High's friend. And see, we have to, it's not something that's a bad thing, it's a great thing. Because as I was reading, pardon the voice, as I was reading last evening, I read across a script that I've never seen before. It said, you have given us these life-giving laws, statutes, and commands. Life-giving laws, statutes, and commands. I started to say life-saving, but it didn't say that. It said life-giving laws, statutes, and commands. that if you walk in these, you're going to have life, like he says in the text. Make a choice. I lay before you this day life or death, blessings or curses. Which one will you choose? And see, now is the time to choose. And I went on and wrote, Saul needed a realignment of his priorities in order to get on track to becoming one of the greatest leaders of Yasharel. We too need this realignment of our own priorities in our personal lives and beliefs. Oh boy. And see, that was my third idea. I started to put that in the title, but I already had too long ideas for my title, but I will put this in the up top under the description. Realignment of our priorities. The realignment of our priorities. And see, that's what getting down off our high horse is. We're realigning our priorities. And see, it's all about, it's really simple. We make it hard. But it's all about giving our all to the Most High. It sounds simple, but it's not in a way, because this takes commitment. And it's just like when you're committed to a wife or a husband or your woman or your man. It takes putting in work. And it's not easy. But it becomes simpler by getting to know that individual, liking them, then loving them. See, when you see an individual in the beginning, it's all about that physical attraction. You may like that. I ain't gonna say that. Oh boy, I almost said that. I ain't gonna say that. You may like what you see in the pretty face, the nice body, beautiful smile. And then you get a little closer, spend a little time with her, get the number and start talking to her. You start enjoying the beautiful personality, the caring spirit. Pardon me. And then all of a sudden, you introduce them to the Most High as your Abba, your Father. And they introduce you to their Father, Abba Yah also. Basically, I say introduce, but basically saying you both have the same upbringing. You both have a good relationship with the Most High. And in that process, a lot of times, as I'm learning, the relationship we have with the Most High is very limited, is the best word. And a lot of times, we're living a lie. We're living a lie. It's just like having a relationship with somebody you really don't know. Same thing we've been talking about with a man and a woman. You be with an individual for a minute, but then certain stuff start coming out, and it's not all the good and the happy and smiley. Things start coming out. In other words, like the personality isn't nice as you thought it was. They're actually mean. Oh boy, they're actually not giving and caring like you thought they were. It was just a front in the beginning. And see, this is how it is with our relationship with the Most High. See, we're not totally sold out to Him. Let's look at it a different way. It's just like being involved with an individual and they like you because they see you got some money, they see you got your life going on. I mean, they see you got your business straight, things going on good in your life. You got money, car, house, clothes, looking good, looking sharp, handsome. But they see your pockets are bulging. So they like, I want him for his stuff. If I get with him, I can get this. I can look like this. I can look like that. Yeah, I have a good man, but I'm thinking about myself. What would I get just in case he don't work out? And see, sad but true, this is how relationships are birthed or started. And see, that's in a lot of ways, that's how our relationships are with the Most High. And the sad part about it is when we come to understand that our relationship is alive. And just like this script here, Jeremiah said, it's not only the Gentiles that's going to be confessing this, but we as the Most High's people are confessing it too. We have been taught lies. We have been raised in churches that have been all about the preaching, all about themselves, all about their money. So they basically been spoon-feeding you the itch and ear doctrine, what you wanted to hear, to keep you around as long as possible. For life, really. And then get your children to follow their children. That's why it be pastors' sons and daughters that be getting into the ministry also. A lot of times the Most High hadn't called them to be a preacher at all. And really he hadn't called the mother or the father to be a preacher. They just got into it because it was handed down to them. Or it was something they saw that was lucrative. But all praises to the Most High. And as I said, come down off your high horse before you get knocked off. See, Paul was on a high horse. Very high horse. All in the name of love. Or God. The Most High. And see, Paul was very well schooled. Paul was how do I say this? The most well-rounded scholar of his time. He was taught by the best. He went to the best schools. And in a lot of those schools, you had to study the text and memorize it all the way through. You had to know every word by heart and what each word meant. But see, like I said in the beginning, Paul didn't know Yahushua HaMashiach. And we see this in his story. What a great reminder, Father. Thank you. Because see, when he was knocked off his horse, the Most High asked him, "Why are you persecuting me?" He said, Who are you, Lord? Who are you? And see, he spent his whole life studying about the Most High, but he never knew him personally. And see, this is how we have been. We spent our whole lives knowing of God or the Most High or the good Lord, but we never knew him personally. And see, this is not a bad thing at all. Like I said, knowledge and wisdom and understanding is not bad. Or I said wisdom, what do we say? Knowledge is not a bad thing. But you have to have the understanding and the wisdom, which is applied knowledge in your life. And what we're talking about today is applied knowledge of your Maker, who will knock you on your hind part. And I can attest to that. See, I had a Damascus road experience. I've had a few of them. But the one of late, well, the major one was the major stroke I suffered, or I had. And then after that, I had back-to-back surgeries. I had a brain surgery or a brain procedure, to hear my wife tell it. She say, "It was a procedure, Robert, it wasn't a surgery." I say, "If you cut me, it's a surgery." And they made a small gash in my thigh and ran a probe all the way up through my body, through my heart, into my brain, squirted the blood clot that was in there and sucked it out. That was one. Then, more than likely, they hit my heart valve on the way and damaged it when they was doing the heart surgery. This is what I think. And damaged my heart valve, so I had to have an open heart surgery, which they had to replace that damaged heart valve with a mechanical heart valve. And then I had to have 3 major surgeries on my left leg, which one took like 6 or 7 hours. I believe it was 7 hours, trying to fish out blood clots. And then finally I had 2 operations on my foot to amputate 3 toes. I had one to amputate 3 toes, and then they had to do another operation to go back in and shave down some bone that the skin wasn't growing back over the bone like it should, a protruding bone, put it that way. I had to go through all of that and have dropped foot, because when they was operating on my left leg, they cut away muscle. They cut away the muscle that raises my foot up. So I had to wear a brace to hold my foot up all the time. And walk with a eternal limp. Well, not eternal, but a limp. But it's a good thing. See, all of this knocked me off my high horse. See, I just knew I knew the Most High, which I did. I had a relationship with him, but it wasn't as intimate as I thought it was. And it sure wasn't as intimate as he wanted it to be. And it wasn't productive at all. I say it wasn't productive at all because I wasn't doing any type ministry like I'm doing now. See, this is my ministry as of now, but I wasn't doing anything. I would go to church, pay my tithes and offerings, go eat dinner with the pastor every now and then, go out to the movies with him and his wife and my wife. And yeah, we support the church. We both worked in the church. But this wasn't the ministry that the Most High instilled into me. See, this was a man-given ministry of what I was trying to do to support this pastor. And I don't think none of that is wrong. It's not. But what the most important thing is, are you lining up? That's another good question. Are you lining up? Climb down off your high horse before you get knocked down. See, and that means you climbed up there. And a lot of times it's just like we was going over with Paul. Paul studied his whole life. His whole life he was climbing. He was climbing with the right intentions, but he never knew the Most High. He was actually killing the Most High's people. And see, that's what we're doing now when we're up on our high horse and saying that them Hebrew Israelites are in a cult, or saying what they say is wrong when they point out that the church is the actual cult. The church has been influenced by old Hasatan, who is the God of this world, who's blinded the eye of all those who won't receive the light of the gospel, who won't see the glorious light of the gospel. So if Hasatan is the God or the Elohim of this world, and he's blinded the eyes of those that won't see, how is he doing this? When the text says, narrow is the way and straight and narrow, no, wide is the gates that leads to death. I'll put it in the description. But it's a broad way, and everybody's following it. This is the Christian church. This is the European Christian influenced church who get their theology from Hasatan himself. But you got to study to show yourself approved. And where it started with me was the Most High speaking to me and asking me questions. He would be like, what's up with that? I'm like, what's up with that? Let me ask. So I would ask the pastor that I was with at the time, what's up with this? I don't know, let me do some studying on that. What you got to study for? It's right here, just tell me what you think. Let me study on that a little bit. 2 months later, did you get a chance to study on that? You hadn't come back and told me that. No, I hadn't had the chance to look at that. Oh, Okay. Well, let's talk. You got a minute. What's up with this? What you think? And see, when people start dipping and dodging questions from one of their best tithe payers and offering givers and love offering givers, then there's an issue there. That means there's some problems. So that was pretty much the start of the Most High dealing with me and giving me the real truth of what's really going on. And it hurt. I had to climb down. It was a climb down. It did. But that was just the beginning. Like I said, I had a rude awakening with that stroke, but that was all part of the plan. It was all part of the plan. But the point is your pride. That's the whole point I'm making today. And your priorities. See, our priorities is off whack, or out of alignment, as we said, because we're more caring about the pastor, about the bishop, about other folks and what they think, and not about the Most High and His will. Because see, we've all heard this truth about who our people are. And a lot of us are turning a blind ear and a blind eye to it. I don't want to hear that. That's gonna, for one thing, change up everything I know. And change is good. It's not a bad thing. Waking up, and see, that's the whole point of it is you need to wake up from your slumber. Like the text says, wake up, old slumber. And just because it's totally against what you've been taught, you say, well, my pastor loved me. Maybe so. And maybe he's been taught wrong also. But the point is, are you going to perpetuate that false witness and teaching your children and their children's children? See, we want to go on and climb down off that high horse, off that pride of life. Because a lot of us are so proud of what we learned, what we was taught, and have starting to become a teacher of it. See, that's how me and my wife was. We had started teaching in the church, preaching, teaching, whatever you want to call it. But see, ain't nothing like the truth. And what's it saying? He that the Son sets free is free indeed. You can best believe that Saul was free indeed. Saul, after that encounter, that meeting. Because he was blind for a spell and had to have somebody to lead him on, I believe, to Damascus. And had to have a prophet of the Most High lay hands on him in order for him to get his sight back. And see, what a lot of people don't realize is that Paul had to sit down for a good spell and be taught of the Most High. He didn't just go to Damascus, get his eyes straight, and jump out and do ministry. No. He had to be retaught everything he had learned by the Most High himself. And I see that's my time, trying to keep these recordings from getting so long. Praise the Most High. Climb on down off that high horse before you get knocked off. And see, that's how that truth does you. And it's so funny. Not funny, but it's such an amazing way the Most High writes the text. See, Paul was knocked down off that high horse by a bright light. By the light of the Word himself, Yahushua, which is the Most High in flesh. But he was knocked off that horse by a blinding light. And see, that's how that truth is. A lot of times we think we can see, but we're actually already blind. We need a reset. We need a reset in our lives. A realignment. But I love y'all as always. Stay up and keep pushing forward in the right direction. Shalom. I wanted to come back and share another part of that idea. And it was about one of my minister friends and another one of our high school classmates that's a preacher. And he was telling them about the truth of who our people are as far as the real Hebrews. He was like, man, I can't tell my people that. He said, they'll leave me. You know, my friend told me that it really turned my stomach. Because that's that pride of life that the scripts speak on. He talking about my people. Your people. When they become your people and not the Most High's people? That's the question. You ain't got no people. And like I told him, they're going to leave him anyway because he's not doing what's right for the Most High. I had to come back and share that about that pride, that high horse. But stay up and keep pushing forward in the right direction. Shalom.